Okay, let us begin. In our previous class, we talked about world Englishes. World Englishes is a very important topics in social linguistics. Today we are going to talk about world Englishes once again because it's a very important topic and all of you have to comprehend the main uh, discussion quite intensively because world Englishes are very important. It's a modern topic of social linguistics, and researches are going on over this topic still. So, what is world English? Is at the very outset we have to know. Actually, English language is an international language. We all know that English is not actually personal property of a particular country. Yes, there might be some native speaking countries all around the world. There are some native speaking countries who use English as their mother language, but there are many countries who are using English as a foreign or second language, and the number of non-native English speaking countries are more than the native speaking in countries. So the, I am repeating, the number of non-native English speaking countries outnumber the number of native English speaking countries. So, in that case, we can see that the non native speakers of English language are more than the native speakers of English language. So, English is being used all around the world, mostly by the non native speakers, just like us. We are the non-native speakers of English, and England, in case of England, in case of America, in case of Australia, they use English language as their mother language. But in case of us, in case of Japan, in case of China, English, in case of us, English is not our mother language, but we are using this language.
Second language.
Yes, we are using the language. In case of England, it is their mother language. In case of Australia,
Yes.
it is their mother language. In case of America, it is their mother language. That means they are the native speakers of English. But in case of us, if you think of Bangladesh, if you think of China, if you think of Japan, these countries are non-native speakers of English language.
Foreign
Clear?
language.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam. So, do you understand the difference between native speakers of English and the non-native speakers of English?
Yes, sir.
Native speakers are uh, those speakers who use English as their mother language, and the non-native speakers of English, they do not use English as their mother language. Rather, they use English either as second language or as foreign language. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us talk about world Englishes. World Englishes, English language has spread all around the world after the colonization. After the colonization took place, we all know English language has spread all around the world. Okay. When the British started colonizing different territories, they actually spread the language to different parts of the world. Thereby, English language has been introduced to many countries all around the world. Today, many countries are using this language as an international language, as a second language, as a foreign language. They're using it. So, the number of the non-native speakers of English language are more than the number of native speakers of English language. Is it clear? not only that, English language has actually created many varieties. Many varieties have been created in English language. Many variations, because English has spread all around the world, different parts of the world, and the people, their culture, they have nativized the language in their own ways. Because different culture, different society, different people, different race, all these things influence the English language vastly. Is it clear?
Yes,
So,
sir.
so in the vocabulary, the grammatical structure, all these things, the pronunciation, all these things have been influenced by different nations, different culture, different parts of the world. English being used differently. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So English is being used differently in different parts of the world because of different culture, because of different cultural identity, because of different race, different ethnic groups. That's why English language has got many variations. But in case of global spread of English, English is being used in three ways all around the world. English language is being used in three ways. Okay. So what are
Yes,
the
sir.
three ways? English as a native language. English,
English as a second language, English
yes,
as a foreign language.
foreign language. These are the three ways. These are the three variations, main variations. Okay, so English is being used as a native language. English is being used as a second language. And last but not the least, English is being used as a foreign language. So as a native language, English as a native language, there are many countries who use English as their mother language. They are the native speakers of English, as I have already told you. So
Yes, sir.
for example, for
The
example,
United Kingdom,
United
the
Kingdom,
United States.
the United States,
Sir.
yes, and Australia. But I told you one thing: when you write United States, you will use the article "the." When you write United Kingdom, you will write the article "the" before the name of the country. But in case of writing England, America, you will not use "the." Okay, normally
Yes, sir.
we do not use the article "the" before the name of a country, but there are some names before which you have to use the article "the," like United States, United Kingdom, UAE, United Arab Emirates, Philippines, West Indies.
USA.
West Indies actually is an island. It's a country which is combined with islands. Okay, and that is why
Yes, sir.
we all know that before the name of an island we use "the," and even before the name of Maldives we should use "the" because it's a country full of islands. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So the Maldives, the West Indies, the United States, the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, the Philippines. Okay, so English is being used as a native language to some countries who actually use English as their mother language. In case of English as a second language, so which are the countries? Countries, there are many countries in the world who have multicultural societies. Okay,
Pakistan,
like
India,
Pakistan, India, Singapore,
Singapore.
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 Yes, they have different race, different culture, different. I mean, there exists multicultural society in those countries, and there are many provinces in India. So different provinces have got different languages like Gujarati, Marathi, Tamil, Bangla, Hindi. So these are the languages different that are actually used in different parts of India. So India actually use different languages in different provinces, and that is why they use a common language for communication. which is known as the lingua franca, and English is their common language, and English is being used as a lingua franca in India. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
That means they are using English as their second language. That means they are using English as their second language. Okay,
Second language.
yes. Now let us move on to the next part, English as a foreign language, EFL. In case of, if you think of
Yes, sir.
Bangladesh, we are using
Bangladesh, China,
Japan.
Japan,
Bangladesh, China, Japan,
China, Japan,
all these countries, they use English as a foreign language because they
foreign
actually,
language.
they are not bound to use English as a second language because they can continue with their native language within their country. But when they go to other countries or when they go abroad, when actually they need to communicate internationally, then they have to switch to English language. That means that they're using English as a foreign language, not as a second language. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So when we use English as a second language and when we use English as a foreign language, when the necessity arises, okay, can you realize that there are different cultures in some countries, there are different cultural groups, there are different provinces. So different cultural groups, different provinces use different languages. So within the country, when they need to communicate with different ethnic groups or different cultural groups, then they have to use a common language, and that is why they use English as their lingua franca or second language. But in case of English as a foreign language, what happens? These countries, they actually they can continue with their mother language all around the country because they don't have to learn other varieties of their language. They can go on with their own language. But when they need to communicate with people outside their country, that means when they need to communicate internationally, then they need to use English language, and that is why English is being used as a foreign language in these parts of the countries. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Just like Bangladesh, if we need to communicate within the country, we can go on with Bangla language with anyone. Within our country, we don't need to use any other language. We can continue with Bangla. But when we need to communicate internationally outside the country, then we have to use English language. And that is why we are using English as a foreign language.
Foreign
But
language.
yes, but there is controversy. Still, there is debate going on whether we are using English as a foreign language or as a mother language. Uh, Controversies are still going on. People are still actually in confusion somehow. But linguists, many linguists of Bangladesh, many researchers, they think that we are heading towards using English as a second language. Is it clear?
Yes,
Still,
sir.
still we are using English as a foreign language, but as you can see that uh, in case of offices, in case of schools, colleges,
School,
universities,
college.
in case of higher studies, we are using English language because English, in a sense, officially we are using English as a second language. Okay, because in our country, if you need to write an official letter or if you need to submit an application, you are writing it in English. Even in case of job application, you can continue with your own language, but you are not doing it. You are using English language officially. So officially English has become our second language, but it has not been given any recognition. That is the problem. Is it clear? Officially,
Yes,
we are
sir.
using English as a second language, but it has not been recommended still, and that is why the problem is there. We are not actually recommending English as a second language, but we are doing it deliberately. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We are using English as a second language in offices, schools, colleges, universities, but it is not actually given any recognition because we all know uh, that Bangla is our mother language, and it is actually in the law. it is in the law that we have to use Bangla officially as well, but we are not actually following that. Is it clear? In
Yes,
our
sir.
in our constitution, it is clearly written. In our constitution, it is clearly written that Bangla will be used in offices. It should be the official language as well, but we are not actually doing it. That means we are breaking the law in a sense. In our constitution, it is clearly written Bangla will be the only language and it will be the official language as well. But even even after uh, giving a lot of lives for the sake of our mother language. We all know that we dedicated uh, our lives for the sake of our mother language, and 21st February is being observed as the International Mother Language Day. But still, we are not using Bangla as our official language. Is it clear? It is clearly written in our constitution that we have to use English officially as well. But sorry, we have to use Bangla officially as well. But we are using English instead of Bangla. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So that means it shows that we are heading towards using English as a second language. Very soon, we will be in the second category. That means English as a second language. We are almost there. We are almost there. Is it clear? Okay. So now let us move on to Braj Kachru's Three Circles of English. Braj Kachru, he is an Indian linguist. He has given three circles of English according to the use of different Englishes all around the world. He has divided the use of English language in three circles. That means he has shown a Google map of the use of English language all around the world. That means this is the Google map of world Englishes. We can say Braj Kachru has provided us with the Google map of world Englishes. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So the inner circle, the first one, the first circle is the inner circle. Inner circle means the countries that are using English uh, as
The native language.
within their country as the mother language. Is it clear? This is
Yes,
the
sir.
inner circle. So like New Zealand, Australia, Canada,
Canada.
yes, all these countries, they are in the inner circle because they're using English as their mother language. And the outer circle actually took place during the time of colonization when the British spread the English language all around the world. Okay, then uh, English language got introduced to different cultures, different people, different ethnic groups, different races. Is it clear? So
Yes, sir.
during the time of colonization or imperialism, the outer circle actually began. So English language started spreading all around the world. So there are some countries who started using English as their second
As a
language.
second language.
Yes, second language. That means they became bilingual in a sense. Is it clear?
Yes,
They
sir.
became bilingual. So what are the countries? As I have already mentioned, India, Pakistan, Malaysia, Singapore. These
Singapore.
these countries are in the outer circle. These countries belong to the outer circle. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the last circle is the expanding circle. Expanding circle, the countries that actually use English for international communication, not as a second language, not as a mother language. They use English just
As
for
an
international
international
communication,
communication.
just like us. Okay. So these countries belong to the expanding circle, like China, Japan,
Japan.
yes,
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, all these countries. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Even in case of Germany as well. Germany. Is it clear? Germany in Europe. Most of the European countries will belong to this group. Will belong to this circle, the expanding circle. Is it clear? Most of the
Yes,
European
sir.
countries, most of the European countries will belong to the expanding circle. Okay. If you think of Argentina, Brazil, all these countries that actually play football well. So Argentina, Brazil will also belong to the expanding circle. Argentina is not an European country. Brazil is also not an European country. Okay, Argentina is a Latin American country. Brazil is also a Latin American country. So do you understand what Latin America means in Bangla? Latin America. Latin
Sorry,
America.
sir.
Latin America. What is the meaning of Latin America in Bangla? Dokhin America.
Okay, now.
Dokhin America is called Latin America in English. And there are some countries that belong to the Latin America, this continent. Which are the countries? Like Peru, okay, Peru, Argentina, Brazil, all these countries belong to the Latin America. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Copa America Cup, uh, the football, the, the football tournament that is held, the Copa America Cup. So most of the Latin American countries take part in this tournament. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chile, so all these countries. So anyway, um, another continent is there that is called the North America. So which countries belong to the North America? Which countries belong to North America? Canada, USA. Okay.
New York.
Next, New York is not a country; it's a part of America. America, Canada. What else? Mexico. America, Canada, Mexico. These countries belong to the, you know, North uh, North American continent. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
America, Canada, Mexico. These countries belong to North America. Okay. So now let us move on to Snyder's 5 stages for the development of post-colonial English. So Snyder, Edgar Snyder is his full name. This model is known as the dynamic model. The model of Edgar Snyder is known as the dynamic model, and Edgar Snyder, he was actually the head of the Department of English in a university in Germany. I forgot the name of the university, but he actually is the departmental head of the uh, of a university in Germany, head of the Department of English in a university in Germany, and his full name is Edgar Snyder. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So Edgar Snyder, he has provided us with 5 stages. This is called the dynamic model. He has provided us with a model of for the development of English language all around the world. How the post-colonial English has developed. I mean, when the British started colonizing, they started spreading the language all around the world. But how the development took place? He has divided the development stages into 5 sectors. What are the sectors? Let us see. First sector, the first stage is the foundation stage.
Foundation.
Foundation stage. So in this stage, English was brought into a new territory. That means the non-native speakers, they had a contact with the native speakers of English. That means non-native speakers, they got to know English language. They had contact with English language in this foundation stage. Is it clear? Before the foundation stage, there was no contact between the non-native speakers and the native speakers. Is it clear? Between
Yes, sir.
before the foundation stage, there was no contact between the English speaking countries and the English not speaking countries. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
But after the foundation stage, during the foundation stage, the contact took place. Okay, English was brought to different parts of the world, and the people of different countries, they got to know about English language. They had some sort of contact with English language. But before the foundation stage, there was no contact. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just like when the British came to our land for colonizing India, then we actually had contact with English language. That is the foundation stage in India. Is it clear? That is the foundation stage of English language in India when the British came to our land. Clear? Okay. Now the second stage. Let us move on to the second stage, exonormative stabilization. Exonormative stabilization. So what is actually the exonormative stabilization? Because when the native speakers came to a particular country, they actually provided their own rules, provided their own norms of the language. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Or that means the rules, norms, and regulations of a particular language, that means the English language, were provided by the native speakers. So the way the native speakers use the language, the way they form the language, all these rules and regulations were provided. This is called the exonormative stabilization.
Stabilization.
Exonormative stabilization.
Stabilization.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
I'm repeating, exonormative stabilization. Okay. Then the next stage, nativization. Nativization, I think you have come across the term nativization during your midterm exam. So what is nativization? Can you remember?
Yes, sir.
Applying someone's L1 knowledge over the L2 knowledge. That means applying your first language knowledge over the second language knowledge or over a foreign language. So applying your native language knowledge over a foreign language is known
Foreign
as
language.
nativization.
Nativization.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So in this stage, the nativization took place because English language actually was nobody's own property, as it was uh, spread all around the world. It has been already spread by the British during the time of colonization. Now, the non-native speakers of English, they are adding different values, different flavors to English language. That means they are adding different dimension to English language in case of pronunciation, in case of grammatical structure, in case of vocabulary. They are adding their own flavor. Is it clear? That means they are using English in their own ways. The non-native speakers of English, they started using English in their own ways. But previously, in the exonormative stabilization, they used English not in their own ways, rather in the ways of the native speakers. Is it clear? But in case
Yes,
of this
sir.
stage, in case of the nativization stage, what happened? The non-native speakers, they started using English in their own ways. But in exonormative stabilization, they used English not in their own ways, rather in the ways of the native speakers. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now Indo-normative stabilization, the next stage. So after independence, when the British actually gave freedom, when they went away from the different lands all around the world, what happened? The non-native speakers of English language, they started to make new rules and grammar for English language. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
It is called the endonormative stabilization. That means after independence, when the British went away from our country, then we started using English freely, and we started to provide some rules and regulations for English language in our own ways. That means in our own rules, in our own native flavor, we're adding all these things to English language, and thereby we have created a new dimension of English language. That means English in our territory, especially in India, this part, English is known as the Indian English. Is it clear? Indian English.
Yes, sir.
The English that is used in India is known as Indian English. Okay, so Indian English is different from the native speakers of English language. That means Indian English is different from British English. It is also different from American English or Australian English. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
If you look at the pronunciation of a you know, of an Indian person, you will realize it. They use English in their own flavor, in their own way. In case of pronunciation, in case of grammar. Okay, is it clear?
Yes,
In
sir.
case of vocabulary as well. Most of the Indians, they pronounce package, not package, package. Okay, most of the Indians, they pronounce package. So they added native flavor in pronunciation as well. Package. So package is not actually grammatic. It is not actually the correct pronunciation. Phonetically, it is not the correct pronunciation. The correct pronunciation would be package, not package. Is it clear? But most of the Indians are using package. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so let us move on to the next stage, the last stage of Snyder, differentiation. So when actually the Indian English got a different identity in the world, that is called the differentiation. That means the differentiation took place when the variety of the English language got an international status. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
When a particular variety of English language got the status worldwide, then that is known as differentiation. Because in Indian English is different, as I have already told you. Indian English is different from American English. It is different from British English. It is different from Australian English. It is completely different. So Indian English is a worldly recognized English that is being used in one part of the world, that is called India. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
when a particular variety of a language got international identity or international recognition, then that is known as differentiation. Belongingness to language trying to introduce with their own variety. Is it clear? So the variety, if you think of the Indian English has already established its own place in the world. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is known as the differentiation. So these are the 5 stages of the development of English language after the colonization. Foundation stage, exonormative stage, nativization, Indo-normative stabilization, differentiation. These are the 5 stages. So diversity of English language. We all know that English is being used in different parts of the world, and more than 100 countries use English. Nowadays, more than 100 countries use English all around the world. So as I have already told you, the number of non-native speakers of English outnumber the number of the native speakers of English. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So these are the varieties. There are many varieties of English language worldwide. You can see American English, Australian English, Babu English, Banglish. Banglish is also being used nowadays. That means
Sir, what is Babu English?
Babu English actually used in India. It is an Indian English. It is a variety of Indian English. Is it clear? Babu English is a variety, is a local variety of English language. It is used in India. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Banglish is used in Bangladesh. Most of the young generation, they actually use this kind of Banglish language. That means the code mixing and code switching takes place deliberately. Is it clear? Code mixing and code
Yes,
switching
sir.
takes place deliberately, and this is known as Banglish, British English, Canadian English, Caribbean English. So there are many English, world Englishes, Chinese English, Indian English, Irish English, Euro English, West African Pidgin English, Zimbabwean English.
Zimbabwean English.
Yes, these are a few varieties. There are many varieties, many other varieties as well. Arabian English is missing here. Arabian English also has got its own place because the Arabians, they actually cannot pronounce English properly. They have their own local variety of pronunciation. Is it clear? Like trouble, daddy,
Yes, sir.
trouble, daddy. They cannot say trouble. They say, rather they say trouble. They cannot actually say daddy. They say daddy. That is one kind of nativization. They are using the knowledge of their native language pronunciation over the foreign language, over the English language. This is called nativization. Is it clear? So
Yes, sir.
they are adding new flavor, new value, new rule to a foreign language. So they are nativizing it. Anyway, so I think that's all for today. In our next class, we will actually get to know about more and more about the world Englishes. So anyway, GELT, before we wrap up, we have to know about another term that is called GELT, Global English Language Teaching.
Global
And
English language teaching.
yes, Global English Language Teaching and ELT, English Language Teaching. As you know, there are many varieties of English language all around the world. So English language teaching is not the proper term now. Now Nicola Galloway and Heath Rose, they say that now the term should be changed. Now there is a necessity for a new term, and that is the new term is GELT. That means Global English Language Teaching. Global English Language Teaching and English language teaching are not the same thing, because English language teaching in the native countries is completely different from the English language teaching in the non-native countries. Is it clear? So we have to look
Yes,
forward to making or globalizing it. I mean, we have to look forward to universalizing the teaching methodology of English language, and that is known as the GLT, or Global English Language Teaching. Is it clear? That means we have to create a universal methodology for teaching English all around the world. Clear?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that we can use English properly all around the world. Okay. So thank you very much for attending my class today. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Love